Okay, hi. My name is Royce Lewis. I have been in building science since 1994 when Ron Hughes of Hers Incorporated hired me and started training me. And over the last 22 years, I have become a certified instructor in manual D, J, and S. I'm a building professional, certified building professional. Got several blower door certificates. I've been testing homes since 1994, and I have personally tested and fixed thousands of homes over the last 22 years. About 10 years ago, a friend of mine, Eric Evans, a master electrician, built a small 500 square foot house behind his. And he called me and he said, "Royce, I think I've built an airtight house. It's 100% foam. I have went through and caulked and foamed every crack, penetration, seam in this house. I'd like you to come blower door, tell me how it leaks, if it leaks." So I went out to that little 500 square foot house and I put up my blower door with no rings. And I turned it on and it said that the 500 square foot house had 1,200 CFM of leakage. Well, we both knew that was wrong, and we got out our smoke bottles, went running around, and we couldn't get smoke to come in anywhere. Not on an outlet, not a window, not in the attic, not at the floor. Nowhere there were no leaks. And I started thinking to myself, wait, there's something wrong with this test. So I took my smoke bottle over to this fan and I puffed smoke into the middle of the fan, and the smoke went out the fan. As I moved the smoke towards the edge of the fan, the smoke came back in the fan. And I realized that I was trying to suck air out of a Coke bottle. That if this house didn't leak at all, the fan was just merely circulating the air through the fan, and my meter was picking that up as house leakage. So I went to the rings and I put on rings until the smallest ring. And even at the smallest ring, it said the house was still leaking about 800 CFM. There was no leakage in the house whatsoever, not even a pinhole. So I knew at that time that we had a problem, that a fan evidently could not test an airtight structure or jar or whatever you want to test. Years later, 2 years ago, I was called out to Keith Wingfield's house, a builder, the most energy efficient builder in the state of Arkansas. He does more Energy Star homes than anyone. Ron Hughes, the fellow that hired me and trained me 22 years ago, was there. His crew was there. And they were having trouble because they were trying to pass Energy Star and they were showing massive duct leakage. But the company assured us that they had sealed every joint with mastic, that duct leakage was impossible. So they invited me over to see if I could figure out what was wrong. When I walked in, I came in with a smoke generator thinking, well, we'll find the duct leaks, we'll puff smoke into the system and find the smoke. Well, we shot the smoke, and the only place smoke came out was around the buckets that they had tied up against the registers. There was no smoke in the attic, no smoke from the fresh air, a lot of smoke from the air handler, but no smoke from the ducts. Yet the test said it had massive duct leakage and failed the Energy Star. So I started to investigate this further with more and more homes, which brings us to this one. Now, this is not the best home to test for the purposes of showing you everything that could be wrong with this test, because this is only a 1,200 square foot home with a 1.5 ton duct system and an air handler. I have found over the years that the big problem comes when they're testing 5-ton duct systems, 4 or 5-ton duct systems, with a furnace and coil, which makes everything much worse. And if the house has 2 or 3 air handlers, well, then there's almost no chance of passing, because these air handlers leak more than the test requires, and which we're about to show you. So here we are on a 1,200 square foot Habitat for Humanity house, and they've allowed us to film inside of it and show you what's going on. Dallas Henry of Innovative Heat and Air Solutions in Little Rock, Arkansas, has built this duct system and put in the heat and air system, and his crews use gray mastic to mastic every seam. As well as masticking all the seams, we've sealed up all the boots with foam board and foil tape. The return's going to be right under the air handler, and so we've sealed that with foam board. And as every test I've ever been out on, some of the massive leakage is actually from the duct blaster, the flex tube that connects the duct blaster, and where you connect to the return grill. In this case, in order to keep the smoke from coming back through all of that, we have not only taped the foam board in place, we've had to mastic it in place to keep the smoke from coming out of this tape when we put this duct system under pressure. So we're about ready to start the test and show you what's going to happen, but I'm going to do a couple of weird things first, because what I've done over here is I've left one duct unsealed. It's a 4x10 with a 5-inch duct on it. And I've opened it up, so I know that I have a massive duct leakage. All the rest of the ducts are sealed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform the test as if I'm starting from scratch and I think the duct system is sealed, and I'm going to turn my duct blaster.
Move the cameras.
Okay. Oh, are we going to move the cameras now?
We can do that right now. Let's do
Okay. I forgot to tell you that. What we're going to do here, I forgot a very important step. In order to show you that at some point here I'm going to introduce theatrical smoke into the system. And when I do, any leak in this duct system will smoke, the smoke will come flying out of it. So we're going to locate some cameras above the ceiling to watch the duct system as I inject smoke to see if there's any duct leakage in the ducts, the supply ducts at all in the attic. And we'll monitor it from several locations. We'll also be watching this location where we have the air handler and the duct blaster to see if it's leaking here. And so we're going to go ahead and take a little cut here. As I mentioned earlier, I have a 4x10 5-inch duct unsealed. All other ducts in the house are sealed, the fresh air sealed, the return is sealed. We've even taped up the air handler to try to get the number as low as we can. If my gauges are set up, this white hose is going to one of the furthest ducts in the house in the living room. Looking at the wrong camera. The red hose is to the fan. I have it set on duct blaster with ring 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the duct system up to 25 pascals, knowing that I have a duct leak, and see how much leakage it says I have. It's showing about 123 at 25.5 pascals. Now, I also have a calibrated flow hood. And the flow hood will tell me what this duct is leaking, which we believe is the only duct in the house that leaks right now. And the flow hood says that I'm leaking 65 CFM, 66, 67, 68. So I have 68 CFM at my known leakage site, but the duct blaster thinks I have twice as much leakage. Oh. And because it's new construction, to isolate the boot, I put a piece of cardboard on there to have only the air go through there and not be able to escape back out my flow hood like it escapes back out the fan. All right, so now we're going to tape that duct back up. As soon as I find the tape, we're going to eliminate the one duct leak we know we have. Get our duct flow hood up there again, confirm there's no leakage. Zero duct leakage, we've sealed that duct off. So now we go back to our duct blaster. Of course, now that I've sealed the duct, we have 103 pascals in the duct system, and it says we're still leaking 107. I'll turn the pressure down. Even with ring 3, it's hard. So at 25 pascals, it's showing 43 CFM, which on a 1,200 square foot building will barely pass. But let me tell you why this building won't pass. Here's a theatrical smoke generator. I'm going to put smoke into this duct system. Now we got cameras in the attic. We're going to find out if this 43 is up there, if it's down here. Where is the 43? My experience has been that every time that I pump smoke into this duct system, it's going to come right back out this way. I'm not going to find any smoke coming from the ducts. Very little from the air handler because we have it taped up, but the smoke will all be generated here. We'll see what happens. Now, as we look around upstairs, there is no smoke anywhere. None, 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 none. 43 CFM would be equal to about a 4-inch duct wide open. So we're looking for a leak about this big at 25 pascals. As we walk around, there's absolutely none. There's no smoke in this area whatsoever. We've opened a hole in the back of the plenum to see the back of the shoe rack to see if it was leaking back there. But we get here back to the closet, and as you can see, slowly it starts leaking out of the air handler. So now, I'm going to show you how bad this is. If you have a house with one air handler in it, and on a house this size, we can only have 40 CFM of leakage about. The one air handler itself will cause you to flunk the test. If you have 2 or 3 air handlers, it's even worse. But the worst of all is a furnace and coil. They add so much resistance to the system that we end up testing the return at 50 or 60 pascals while we're testing the supply at 25 because we're introducing the air into here. All right, so if we have a camera here again, I'm going to do the smoke again. Let's see where it comes from this time. Again, as you see, most of the smoke's coming right back out around my fan. How bad is it? I'll show you how bad it is. I'm going to take it back up. All right. I'll inject smoke into the fan, and let's see where the smoke goes. Right back into our face. The smoke's not going in the fan, it's coming back out. Just like at this little bitty house, when I put rings on, the rings disguised what was happening, but you take the rings off, and you can see it's not going in, it's coming out. Now, to prove that, let's do this one more time. I'm going to open this duct again. I'm going to create a true duct leak. Okay? Now we know we have a duct leak. My flow hood says that it's about 57 CFM. 58 CFM. Now when I shoot smoke into the fan, it all goes in. It doesn't fly back in my face. So what's happening? When you're trying to blow air into a Coke bottle, when you're blowing it into an airtight duct system, there is so much resistance here at this fan that it's backfeeding, and the rings only disguise what's happening. All the smoke goes in. All of it comes out over there. Here it comes. So, if you have duct leakage, the fan can work. But as soon as you seal off this duct leakage, the smoke's not going to go in the fan, and if the smoke's not going in the fan, air's not going in the fan. It's recirculating in the fan, and it's telling us we got a duct leak where there isn't one. All right, so we got that all sealed up again. Let's see if we can pass with the air handler open. Go back to ring 3. Reset my gauge to ring 3. Duct Blaster A. I'm only at 17 pascals, so I got to get it up to 25. And now I'm failing. So, the air handler alone, and I still have tape on it. Ooh, that's a bad piece of tape there too. I'll get that one off. Ooh, that's a bad leak under there, yep. Pascal, 65 CFM, the house fails with no duct leakage. There's no smoke coming from anything except for this fan and that air handler. So as tight as they build a duct system, they can build it airtight, but when they build it airtight, it becomes impossible for this fan to do its job. It just all comes back out around me.